Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This video is all about a date night look using Blood Sugar and Jawbreaker, both by Jeffree Star, of course. So we're going to start this look by doing the eyes. I have been loving this and it prevents having to deal with any fallout after. So to start, of course, I go in with my E40 Tapered Blending brush by Sigma, and I am using the shade Sugar Cane first in the crease, and then I also add Cake Mix a little bit deeper in the crease, and these are of course my transition colors. But when I looked back at the video, I realized I did not use any primer on my lids. Surprisingly, the shadow does last all night. So third, I go in with the shade Prick, and I am using a clean E35. So you can see here with the previous two shades, it is starting to look a little pink. So I do try to make it a little bit more red later on. And excuse me for the singing because I am singing along with some music. So now I just go back in with the previous E40 brush and I'm blending out that shade. Next we are using an E38, I believe, the Diffused Crease brush. Oh no, it was a clean E35. And we're going in with the shade Licorice from the Jawbreaker palette. And this is just going down a little bit into the crease underneath the other shades that I applied. And as you can see, this look requires a lot of blending. It is being like fast forwarded, but I do a lot of blending and I still had to cut some blending out. So here is the E38 Diffused Crease brush, and I'm going in with the shade Raw Meat from the Blood Sugar palette. And here's where the look starts to become a little bit more red, and the eyes are a little bit deeper now. So I bring it down onto the outer corner and into the outer crease. And next I use a new brush, an E35 Blending by Sigma, of course, and I add the shade Blood Sugar, which is now a little bit more of a true red and also has a shimmer, and I apply this directly to the lid. So next I take the E45 Small Tapered Blending, and I'm going in with Intravenous, and I'm applying this very, very precisely to the inner crease, and almost to give my eye a look as if I had done a cut crease, but just to give a little bit more depth and dimension to my eye. So I spend quite a long time with this color and on this step. Okay, and I'm just going back in with the shade Blood Sugar to make sure it is poppin'. So next I'm taking a liner brush, I believe this is the L06, and the Maybelline gel liner in black. And I apply this gel liner to my inner water rims, the top and the bottom. And I find using this brush and this gel formula, I can really get into the spaces between my lashes, especially on the top lash line. And this is waterproof, so it lasts forever. The only thing I noticed, because I am a contact lens wearer, it does kind of affect my eyes a bit. I can feel it on my lash line and it feels a little weird. So I just give my eyes a couple of blinks and it goes away. So now I'm adding a little bit extra to the lower lash line because I go in with a red shade later and I kind of blend it into the black. So this just makes my eyes a bit darker, and then of course I need a sip of coffee. So I'm taking a makeup wipe, and I believe this is actually a Walmart brand, the Equate version of the Neutrogena wipe. and I'm just wiping away any fallout and cleaning up the outside line. Going back in with my very first brush and just blending the top. And now we're priming the skin with this Maybelline Baby Skin Instant Pore Eraser Primer. I'm applying it all over my skin to give that perfect primer and layer before foundation. I apply foundation with, of course, my Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge, and this is the Tarte Found Sealer in the shade 42N Tan Neutral. And you can kind of tell that the neutral gives my skin almost more of a gray cast, where I should really have gotten maybe like a golden or an olive toned foundation. I just didn't know what color my skin would change to in the summer. And not to worry, because I do bronze it up using some really bronze color that matches my skin, so it looks better in the end. So it's important to really tap out your foundation and just make sure it's all blended, because even when you think it is, I always say, sometimes it's not. And of course, I go in with my e.l.f. color corrector stick in Peach to cover up my dark circles. And I'm blending this out with my Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge again. So now I'm using my Jeffree Star Magic Star Concealer, and I think this is the shade C15. I thought it was C14, but it is really dark with this foundation, so I think it's a C15. And again, I'm blending it out with my sponge. And just making sure that the eyeshadow is seamless. And now I kind of think I want to use the Maybelline Fit Me, and then I change my mind and go with the Jeffree Star Magic Star Setting Powder in Banana. And the reason I chose Banana is because it is darker, and I do use an F06 Powder Sweet by Sigma to apply it underneath my eyes. And it is quite a bit yellow and quite a bit darker, but it will eventually match with my skin, I promise. So I'm using an F20 large powder brush by Sigma to set my entire face. And I realize at this point that my makeup has set in my forehead lines, so I just have to blend it out with my sponge. And then I can finally set with powder. And again, I'm just cleaning up any powder left behind with my F06 Powder Sweet brush. And I use my Tarte Park Ave Princess Chisel Palette to bronze. So I do use my F30 large powder brush to put my bronzer on. And you can tell instantly that this bronzer kind of brings my skin, my face, to the same level as the rest of my body. It just looks like more of an airbrushed finish. So I take my time building up the color to get it to the color that I like. And I figured that if I added a pink blush, it probably wouldn't go very well. So I went in with my Benefit Dallas blush, and then just went back in with my bronzer brush to blend the blush into my cheeks. This is the first coat of Morphe Continuous Mist Setting Spray. I'm using this Morphe brow brush now, and my Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow Pomade in Ash Brown. And this step, honestly, it's not meant to look natural. I do this on purpose because the eyes are already so dark and kind of take the limelight here that I really need my brows to kind of step it up a bit. So this is why I make them a bit darker and more dramatic. And I do top them off with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Clear Brow Gel just to set them in place and make sure that all the hairs are aligned in the proper direction. Okay, now I'm taking an E15 flat definer brush and I am applying the shade Fresh Meat from the Blood Sugar palette to the lower lash line. So here I'm breaking the color all across the lower lash line, and this is the darkest shade, and I'm blending it in with the black liner. And next I do take an E30 pencil brush and I take the shade Blood Sugar and I blend it into the shade on the upper lid, and I blow it out on the lower lash line just a little bit. So I'm wiping away any fallout with my F06, and I go in with a clean E30 pencil brush now into the shade Glucose, again in the Blood Sugar palette. This is a matte white, it is not a sparkle, but I figured it would really go with my shirt and really kind of pack a really bright punch. So I apply it to the inner corners, and as you can see, I kind of blend it a couple of times. So I apply it, I blend it, I apply some more, I blend it again, and I apply just a little bit more to give it its most bright boost, if that makes sense. And this really makes my eyes pop and kind of pulls the whole look together. I add a tiny bit just underneath the eyebrow, again to clean up that area and just to make it a little bit brighter. And now I am taking my Too Faced Better Than Sex black liquid liner and applying at first a very thin line on the upper lash line, but I made an oopsie, which is coming up right about, right after this eye. So I make an oopsie and I have to go back in and make a little bit of a thicker line, but it works out in my favor because we're applying lashes today, so it works. There's the oops, but not to worry because we can just make it a tad bigger. Next is going to be lips. So I do use my Buxom Full On Plumping Lip Polish in the shade Rebecca. This is the lightest shade that I have, and it just makes my lips stand out without having any lipstick on, which is just too heavy for a look like this with this eye look. On to mascara now. I use Maybelline Total Temptation Blackest Black shade. And for lashes, I believe I'm using the Ardell Wispies. And of course, House of Lashes Black Lash Adhesive. And I usually don't show this part, but because I fast forwarded the video, I thought I could add it and just show you how I go about adding my lashes. And the last step is adding highlighter from the Benefit Cheek Leaders Mini Bronze Squad in the shade Cookie. I am using an E35 to add this. And that is the completed look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification to be notified every time I post a new video. Happy date night, everyone. I'm giving my face a final spray, and that is it. You'll see shortly I take my hair down, and I am ready to go for date night. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching.